Lorne by Nathaniel Trevor. Read by BakedSalmon. Chapter 5. The apartment is $400 paid on the first day of every month. You don't pay, Tony kicks you out. $250 deposit. That's quite cheap, replied Lorne, satisfied. The floor of the apartment looked so comfortable. Believe me, it's actually quite high, replied the lady. It will be very hard for you to cause more than $250 in damage to the apartment. Are you sure my dog is welcome? Yes, but if he bites someone, you will receive a fine. Lorne let out a long sigh of relief. After so much bad luck, things were finally turning around. He had a car, he had a dog, and now he had a place to stay. The only thing missing would be a sweet little baby girl to fill his days and his nights. Immediately, he started to remove his clothes. Sir, what are you doing? Sorry, replied Lorne, now half undressed. I'm usually naked when I'm home. Then you'll fit right in. Enjoy your stay at Hickory Woods. And remember, if you have a problem, don't call us, because we don't care. At long last, Lorne laid on the floor, naked, his loyal cap still stuck to his head. In the quietness of the moment, punctuated by the couple above having a fight and throwing pretty much everything that they could grab, including what sounded like multiple plates. Thank God I only eat frozen food and I don't really need plates, thought Lorne. And the next door neighbor blasting some strange Latino music. Lorne realized that, at long last, he had done it. He had managed to leave his mother's house. Better late than never, he thought to himself. All of a sudden, Lorne started thinking about the strange dream he had had when he was 8. It was true that, somehow, his shirt had never had any tears or holes and always adjusted to his size. His mother, Gwendolyn, didn't seem to see any problem, perhaps thinking the fabric would loosen with time, and enjoying not having to waste any more money on new clothes for her worst child. As for the tears, they had worked wonderfully well, with every person he had encountered even managing to get a felony charge for running from the scene of an accident vanish into thin air. Finally, perhaps there was truly some magic at play here. Still, even after so many years, he failed to understand the power of the cap. To him, it seemed like any other ordinary cap, but the angel, the messenger of Cod, had clearly said it was the most powerful artifact. Lorne wondered why, and whether its secret would one day be revealed, or even if there was a secret at all. Its only power so far seemed to be the power of hiding his complete baldness, a curse that had struck him in full force the moment he turned 18. Lorne knew what power he had the most use of at that moment, rolling his own cigarettes, a habit that saved him a fortune. Every day he made a point to smoke so that he could save even more money by smoking hand-rolled cigarettes instead of store-bought. Senor! Senor! A loud voice at the door took him from his stupor and his intent to poison his lungs. Sighing, Lorne put on his clothes once again. He didn't even know if he wanted to get naked anymore because of this dumbass. He was tempted to put a towel under the door to make them believe that he had gone to sleep. However, it was 1 p.m., and he doubted these people would buy into his strange sleeping patterns. Hola, señor. Yo soy Pablo. Es muy amigo. Hi, my name is Mark, said a polite man, shaking his hand, and this is my brother-in-law. I believe he is asking you if you could drive him to the store. Sí, el Walmart. Yo quiero ir a la tienda. My name's Armstrong. Lorne Armstrong. I'll drive your brother to the store. What does he want to buy? He doesn't really want to buy anything. He works there, you see. Mark didn't need to add anything. An illegal immigrant. Perhaps the only societal category that was below Lorne in his mind. Gracias, señor. It wasn't exactly how Lorne had planned to spend his afternoon. He had planned to masturbate furiously in every corner of the room to mark his territory, but it would be a good occasion to meet his new neighbor. Perhaps they had a tween girl to offer him. They could even take a bubble bath together, and she would hold on to his penis in order not to slip in the bath. El perro, said the man, as Bud jumped outside, eager to run and explore a little. Comer el Pedro? He's asking if your dog is going as well, said Mark. El perro se ve sabrosa, said the man, speaking his weird language as he played with the dog. He's saying that you shouldn't let your dog out without supervision. Bud couldn't hurt a fly, sir. I'm going to ask you to stop playing with Bud, or else you'll have to get naked. You can only play with Bud 5 minutes, and then your clothes have to come off. On this, and although the idea of watching an Australian man naked didn't particularly appeal to him, Lorne got his chronometer out, the last gift that he had received from his mother before leaving for Nashville.
This, Lorne, is the ultimate secret of my chicken pot pie. You must cook it for 51 minutes, 17 seconds exactly, had uttered his mother in some kind of grave moment. Can't I use the oven timer, Mommy? Had said Lorne. Yeah, like you knew how to use an oven timer,
had joked his mother.
You used to get D's in just about everything, and somehow you think that you'll manage to set the oven timer without fucking everything up and setting the apartment on fire? Lorne, I had to tie your shoelaces until you were 16. Remember when you came home crying because a kid untied your shoe and you didn't know what to do?
No, you should have bought me Velcro. I always wanted to wear Velcro shoes, had cried Lorne.
When you're old enough, you'll be able to buy the shoes you want. You'll even be able to buy the worst running shoes on the planet if that's what you want.
Senor? Walmart? Si, replied Lorne, brought back to reality in a flash. Oh, so you speak Spanish. I think you two will get along just fine, smiled Mark. Lorne replied to his smile with an even larger one. For the first time in his life, he had a human friend. Chapter 6. Smokey! Smokey! Screamed Lorne. Shut the fuck up! Yelled his neighbor, the non-Mongolian one. Lorne sat up, gasping for air, lost in the confusion of the moment. It was night time. It was dark, yet Lorne could see a few crickets around him who had snuck inside through a small gap near the door leading to the outside. Well, a cricket never killed anybody, thought Lorne. The memory of his baby cat who had died prematurely still haunting him from time to time. Perhaps it was due to his long journey or his first night at this new strange place. Perhaps it was the strange day with his new neighbors. But that vision had struck him with even more force this time. He still remembered him. A poor, innocent, pretty little cat, vanished overnight. He had found him in the spring as the snow melted, half decomposed. He had cried for 10 nights straight, and, perhaps for the first time in his life, had witnessed some kind of power from his hat. It was incredibly good at absorbing tears. Since that day, Lorne had only had dogs. Bud was a fierce guardian, always loyal to his master and always proud, much like Lorne was in the Air Force. Bigger and with softer fur, Bud was also more goofy and better at picking up girls. As Lorne turned his head, he noticed Bud running around eating a few crickets. Very good, Bud. With that, I'll save some money on your food. And on this, Lorne remembered he had not fed his dog since leaving Maine. Absorbed by the singing, he had totally forgot about taking some peanuts for his loyal partner. I think I should go to counseling to get off the internet, he thought to himself, before remembering that he hadn't really gone on the internet much, let alone owned a computer. Experiencing some desires he had never felt before, he opened the Yellow Pages directory and looked for immediate sources of employment in the vicinity. While a few crickets were good enough to whet Bud's appetite for a few days, it wouldn't be enough to keep him alive for very long, and the last thing that Lorne wanted was to have to steal a new dog. Lorne looked in the construction section, a field he had much experience in. As his brothers had told him, defrauding people is what is to be expected from a contractor.
You know what they call honest carpenters? Suckers,
had said his brother.
But if you steal from people, they won't call you the next time they need work done. Then they'll call someone else who will also steal from them. And us, We'll be going to the house of another person who was scammed by a different contractor. It's called the Wheel of Construction Work, Lorne.
Little Lorne didn't seem to enjoy the lesson much, shaking his head in disbelief.
Listen, I know you never did well in school, but I'm teaching you the ropes here. You got a D in economy, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm teaching you the real world economy. Look, Lorne, let's say you got hired to do a job, and you do it right. What happens after? The guy pays you, he's very happy, and then that's the end of things. But let's say you scam him instead. What happens? Well, he has to hire another person to finish the job. Boom! You just created 2 jobs for the price of 1. And that's how it's how the entire world works, Lorne. Stop being so selfish and think about others for once.
Lorne had chosen to specialize in septic systems, or septic tanks, which is where the water and poop and toilet paper goes. That's what he used to do for work. Lorne used to have his own septic business where he would fix people's septic systems, and he'd also put in brand new septic systems, so he knew a lot about them. He knew so much about them, in fact, that he thought about starting a Google AdSense account so that he could make money when people click on his ad for information that they might need. He wasn't exactly sure what he was going to do for the information they might need, though. Laugh out loud. He was thinking about doing it with septic information because he knew a lot about that. This kind of work was perfect for him because, as his father said the one time he met with him, Lorne was a piece of shit himself. In the rising sun, Lorne got out of his bed, or rather stood up from the floor. He ate his favorite breakfast, French toast, and felt ready to attack the day. He let Bud lick the bowl, and the poor creature almost ate the wrapping. I'm going to the store later tonight, Bud, and I promise to get you some food. Perusing the big booklet, he noticed a place called Work Today, Get Paid Today. Well, this would be perfect for him. Immediately, he rushed to the place, hoping to arrive before the hordes of people desperate for money. Hola, senor! Pablo? What's he doing here? Thought Lorne to himself, a little bit angered at the line of people waiting in front of the place. In another life, Lorne would have been angered to have been relegated to the rank of illegal immigrants and felons trying to avoid a warrant, but this was a whole new town for him. Worst case scenario, perhaps Craig could get something set up for him. Pablo kept speaking in that weird language, and not even a minute into the discussion, Lorne grew annoyed to death with his constant babbling, partly because he didn't understand a word he was saying. If only there was a door he could put a towel under to make him believe he fell asleep. Lorne was tempted to take a nap right here on the sidewalk, but the last time he had done that, he had ended up with a public intoxication charge and having to use his magical tears again. Lorne worked hard from dusk to dawn, driving some kind of small bogey that he could lift wood into the air. At last, the second part of the business name, the one that interested him, arrived. The Get Paid Today part. Lorne stood in line, hungry, as each worker was handed some money. Wait, that's it? Asked Lorne, irritated and holding a $20 bill. Well, what do you mean, that's it? Yes, that's your pay, replied the employee. But I worked nearly 11 hours, he said, angered. With it, he couldn't even buy a bag of food for Bud. Pablo, on the other hand, seemed overjoyed at the sight of his new funds. Dinero, dinero, he kept repeating. The federal minimum wage is $5.85 per hour, continued Lorne. Yeah, it is. That makes a salary of $5.85 times 10 hours, as we don't pay partial hours, less the 70% administrative fee, which means you actually do owe us $2.45, but since this is your first day, we decided to be nice to you. But don't make us change our mind. We'll see you tomorrow. Senor, paseo a Hickory Woods? Arumba, arumba! Eager to return home to Bud, who surely must have been bored by now, Lorne hurried through the Walmart store he had dreamt of visiting all day. At the end, he hesitated between a 12-pack of his favorite beer, plus 3 frozen mac and cheese plates on sale, and a bag of food for Bud. I'm sorry, old friend, thought Lorne, as he picked the beer he desperately craved. Perhaps tomorrow Bud would be more lucky. At the very least, he would let Bud lick his fork so he could have his sweet germs, too. Lorne by Nathaniel Trevor. Read by BakedSalmon. Hey man, you checked out Salmon's Patreon?
Dummy Data, Kelp Pill, Tech Rex 71, Cat G, West Most, Michael's TCAP channel, Ramiro San, TCAP Recipes, Aerodo, Gram, M1A, Dr. K, Tiffany Lockhart, Amanda James, Joey's TCAP channel, Michelle Simpson, Joran Comedy, and the ever-lovable Gooey Who.
And thanks to everyone who supports the channel with views and comments and buying the t-shirts. Bless you. I love you all.